Good morning. My name is Rachel, and I am a thrifty crocheter. And today is Monday. It's the start of another work week. It is Monday, September the 8th. And on this calendar, we have a multiple of 7 stitches plus 2. "365 Days of Kindness." Persuading leaders. Use patience and kindness when you want to persuade leaders and watch them change their minds right in front of you, for your gentle wisdom will quell the strongest resistance. Proverbs 25:15. To enact an attack is to invite a retaliation. That was hard to say. To enact change, however, demands a much more modest approach. When our intention is to change hearts, we should not be bothered about receiving the credit or promotion and praise. An unprecedented approach that does not shame or harm can evoke appreciation and perhaps even respect, rather than an onslaught that aims to protect position and image. This is especially true with leaders. Whether or not we agree with how our leaders are conducting themselves or handling matters, the Lord has put them in their role, and He alone can see their hearts. Act of kindness. Tell your boss something you appreciate about them. Yes, even bosses like it when you're appreciating. Not brown-nosing. Not brown-nosing, but being honestly appreciative of them. There's a difference. There's a big difference. All right, daily guideposts for grandmothers. September the 8th. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Proverbs 15:1. My 5-year-old grandson Cameron was ready for his first day of kindergarten. I phoned my daughter Jenny after she dropped him off to catch the school bus. "How did it go?" I asked. I knew Cameron was eager to start school, but both Jenny and I had our worries about our little Cam riding the big, scary yellow bus on his own. "Another boy spat at me," Jenny told me, and then on to explain the circumstances. Both boys were in the line waiting for the bus, and some kind of disagreement broke out. Apparently, the other boy didn't get his way and spat at Cameron. That's not very nice. That's rude. My heart sank. I asked Jenny how she had handled the situation, since she was standing right there. "I didn't need to do a thing. Cameron took care of it," Jenny explained. He looked at the boy directly in the eyes and said, "If you do that, you can't be my friend." By the time the bus arrived, Cameron had a new friend. They had their arms around each other and were the best of buddies. Oh, that's cool. I was proud of my grandson's response to mistreatment, but at the same time, I was reminded of how often I'm tempted to retaliate in kind when I feel wronged. Jesus calls me to live a life of love. My grandson gave me a beautiful example of how. Dear Lord, help me always to follow your and Cameron's example and turn aside anger with love. Debbie McComber. That was really cool. I think we can all remember what it was like to go and ride the bus for the first time, or we see our kids and grandkids go off to school, whether they're a walker or a bus rider or just being in school for the first time. It's a big step for anybody, and especially even if you're older and you're having to change schools and having to be the new kid in school. That's also another big step. It's a big milestone for you in your life. So it's always scary in the first days. So the illustrated words of Jesus for women. September the 8th. Follow the leader, question mark. Follow the leader? Can the blind lead the blind? Will they not both fall into a pit? Luke 6:39. This makes so much sense. If you find yourself emulating someone or getting close enough that your footsteps and behavior match, be sure that your leader is a Christ follower. If you choose to follow someone who doesn't follow Christ, don't expect to grow stronger in faith and service. It will be, like Jesus says, the blind leading the blind. If you listen to someone who doesn't really know any more than you know, even if she acts like she does, then you aren't going to get good guidance and help. Be careful who you follow. In fact, follow only Christ. That's the safest option. Imitate God, therefore, in everything you do, because you are His dear children. Live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered Himself as a sacrifice for us, pleasing aroma to God. Ephesians 5:1 and 2. You know what? That one kind of went along with this one. Isn't that cool? Every once in a while, something like that happens where they go together. And like there was one time, I think every once in a while, all three of them go together. I like that. That's what I call like a God wink, like a God coincidence. That's pretty cool. So with that, this small swatch of yarn has been woven with prayers. As you hold this swatch in your hand, may you feel God's strength, love, and peace flow, and know that He holds you in His hands. May God bless and comfort you in your time of need and give you peace. Amen. Love y'all. Bye.